Fidelity. If people would confine their talk to subjects that are profitable, that which St. John informs us took place once in heaven would happen very frequently on earth. Silence for the space of half an hour. Experience is victor, never the vanquished, and out of defeat comes the secret of victory. That tomorrow starts from today and is one day beyond it, robes the future with hope's rainbow hues. In the battle of life, good is made more industrious and persistent because of the supposed activity of evil. The elbowing of the crowd plants our feet more firmly. In the mental collisions of mortals and the strain of intellectual wrestlings, moral tension is tested, and, if it yields not, grows stronger. The past admonishes us. With finger grim and cold, it points to every mortal mistake. Or smiling saith, "Thou hast been faithful over a few things." Art thou a child, and hast added one furrow to the brow of care? Art thou a husband, and hast pierced the heart, venturing its all of happiness to thy keeping? Art thou a wife, and hast bowed the o'erburdened head of thy husband? Hast thou a friend, and forgettest to be grateful? Remember that for all this thou alone canst and must atone. Carelessly or remorselessly, thou mayest have sent along the ocean of events a wave that will sometime flood thy memory, surge dolefully at the door of conscience, and pour forth the unavailing tear. Change and the grave may part us. The wisdom that might have blessed the past may come too late. One backward step, one relinquishment of right in an evil hour, one faithless tarrying has torn the laurel from many a brow and repose from many a heart. Good is never the reward of evil, and vice versa. There is no excellence without labor, and the time to work is now. Only by persistent, unremitting, straightforward toil, by turning neither to the right nor to the left, seeking no other pursuit or pleasure than that which cometh from God, can you win and wear the crown of the faithful. That law school is not at fault which sends forth a barrister who never brings out a brief. Why? Because he followed agriculture instead of litigation, forsook black stone for gray stone, dug into soils instead of delving into suits, raised potatoes instead of pleas, and drew up logs instead of leases. He has not been faithful over a few things. Is a musician made by his teacher? He makes himself a musician by practicing what he was taught. The conscientious are successful. They follow faithfully, through evil or through good report. They work on to the achievement of good. By patience, they inherit the promise. Be active, and however slow, thy success is sure. Toil is triumph, and thou hast been faithful over a few things. The lives of great men and women are miracles of patience and perseverance. Every luminary in the constellation of human greatness, like the stars, comes out in the darkness to shine with the reflected light of God. Material philosophy, human ethics, scholastic theology, and physics have not sufficiently enlightened mankind. Human wrong, sickness, sin, and death still appear in mortal belief, and they never bring out the right action of mind or body. When will the whole human race have one God and undivided affection that leaves the unreal material basis of things for the spiritual foundation and superstructure that is real, right, and eternal? First, purify thought. Then put thought into words, and words into deeds. And after much slipping and clamoring, you will go up the scale of science to the second rule, and be made ruler over many things. Fidelity finds its reward and its strength in exalted purpose. Seeking is not sufficient, whereby to arrive at the results of science. You must strive, and the glory of the strife comes of honesty and humility. Do human hopes deceive? Is joy a trembler? Then, weary pilgrim, unloose the latchet of thy sandals, for the place whereon thou standest is sacred. By that, you may know you are parting with a material sense of life and happiness to win the spiritual sense of good. Oh, learn to lose with God, and you find life eternal. You gain all. To doubt this is implicit treason to divine decree. The parable of the 10 virgins serves to illustrate the evil of inaction and delay. This parable is drawn from the sad history of Vesta, a little girl of 8 years who takes the most solemn vow of celibacy for 30 years and is subject to terrible torture if the lamp she tends is not replenished with oil day and night, so that the flame never expires. The moral of the parable is pointed, and the diction purely oriental. We learn from this parable that neither the cares of this world nor the so-called pleasures or pains of material sense are adequate to plead for the neglect of spiritual light that must be tended to keep aglow the flame of devotion, whereby to enter into the joy of divine science demonstrated. The foolish virgins had no oil in their lamps. Their way was material. Thus they were in doubt and darkness. They heeded not their sloth, their fading warmth of action. Hence the steady decline of spiritual light, until, the midnight gloom upon them, they must borrow the better tended lamps of the faithful. By entering the guest chamber of truth and beholding the bridal of life and love, they would be wedded to a higher understanding of God. Each moment's fair expectancy was to behold the bridegroom, the one altogether lovely. It was midnight. Darkness profound brooded over earth's lazy sleepers. With no oil in their lamps, no spiritual illumination to look upon him whom they had pierced, they heard the shout, "The bridegroom cometh!" But how could they behold him? Hear that human cry, "Oh, lend us your oil, our lamps have gone out, no light. Earth's fables flee, and heaven is afar off." the door is shut. The wise virgins had no oil to spare, and they said to the foolish, Go to them that sell and buy for yourselves. Seek truth and pursue it. It should cost you something. You are willing to pay for error and receive nothing in return. But if you pay the price of truth, you shall receive all. The children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light. They watch the market, acquaint themselves with the etiquette of the exchange, and are ready for the next move. How much more should we be faithful over the few things of spirit that are able to make us wise unto salvation? Let us watch and pray that we enter not into the temptation of ease in sin. And let us not forget that others before us have laid upon the altar all that we have to sacrifice and have passed to their reward. Too soon we cannot turn from disease in the body to find disease in the mortal mind and its cure in working for God. Thought must be made better and human life more fruitful for the divine energy to move it onward and upward. Warmed by the sunshine of truth, watered by the heavenly dews of love, the fruits of Christian Science spring upward and away from the sordid soil of self and matter. Are we clearing the gardens of thought by uprooting the noxious weeds of passion, malice, envy, and strife? Are we picking away the cold, hard pebbles of selfishness, uncovering the secrets of sin, and burnishing anew the hidden gems of love, that their pure perfection shall appear? Are we feeling the vernal freshness and sunshine of enlightened faith? The weeds of mortal mind are not always destroyed by the first uprooting. They reappear like devastating witchgrass to choke the coming clover. O stupid gardener, watch their reappearing and tear them away from their native soil until no seedling be left to propagate and rot. Among the manifold soft chimes that will fill the haunted chambers of memory, this is the sweetest. Thou hast been faithful.